Hey everyone, welcome back to Miniature Painting 101, a series of videos where I teach you all about miniature painting. Painting miniatures. Min Pan. Yes. And this is part 58 Grot flesh, which is different from orc flesh. Since I'm doing my Orktober painting challenge, I figured it'd be an appropriate video to make. See, Grots, they're awesome. They're little detailed little models. They're only worth 3 points in the battlefield, but they don't get much love. People don't typically paint them to a higher standard, so I'm going to show you today how to paint one to a slightly higher standard if you wish, with a lighter color scheme than the orcs. So we're going to start off with the mid-tone from the orc tutorial, which is STRAKEN green. And then rather than using Bile 10, which is too dark of a shade, we're going to use ATHONIAN CAMOSHADE, which is a lighter green shade, followed by SKARSNIK green. And if you want to just paint to a normal tabletop standard, stop there if you want, but we want to go a little bit further, and we're going to do a 1-to-1 mix of SKARSNIK green and USHAT bone, creating an even lighter olive colored green. So of course we'll start off with our STRAKEN green, give it a shake as always, add it to our makeshift palette, which is getting pretty filled with old paint, as you can see here. This tutorial series has been taking a lot on it. Add a little medium, get it to a good consistency as always. It's always good to thin down your paints, especially with tiny models with awesome detail like this Grot. As this, I'll show you, the Grots are, they have actually some great detail in them. They're really nice, they have a lot of character in them. So what we're going to do is to just bring out the character in the model. We're going to kind of, we're going to overshade them. Not really overshade, we're going to elaborate on their shading. So we'll leave a little bit more shading than we normally would. That way it really emphasizes and exaggerates the features of the Grot. That way, because it's so small and seen from a distance, it'll be able to be seen. So we'll take our STRAKEN green, of course, and give a nice solid base coat to our miniature. It is thinned down. I primed gray because gray is a great color to put this STRAKEN green over. And let's make sure it gets some nice solid coverage. And if you're unhappy after it dries, feel free to do a second application. Just make sure it's a nice solid foundation color before proceeding to the shade. As you can see here, so the base color, this is already pretty light compared to the orcs. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do ATHONIAN CAMOSHADE. And I'm actually going to apply it straight from the bottle because I want the recesses to be slightly darker. This is a mid-tone green shade, so it won't be too dark. But I'll just use it straight from the bottle. That way we really get in those crevices and really bring out the character in this model, as you'll see. And as you can see here, there's so much character in these tiny little models. I'm actually a huge fan of them. I'm definitely going to be picking up some more in the future. And they're such a tiny little model. As you can see, the space of a paint can, they're about half that size, so they're pretty tiny. And we're just going to make sure that the whole thing is covered. And when it was completely dry, I then went back to the original color, STRAKEN green once again. That way the recesses aren't too crazy of a different color from the ultimate color, but as I said, we're going to leave a little bit more shade in the crevices than I normally would, because I really want to just exaggerate the crevices, because as I said, this model is really small. And if you really want to keep the character and the definition in the model, I recommend exaggerating the crevices. Leave a little bit more shade. Don't go as far down as you normally would when doing the first highlight color, because that way, right now I'm just basically doing a quick overbrush of it, but that way it really stands out when it's seen from a distance. Up close it does look a little bit more exaggerated and goofy, but still it's a tiny model, so it'll end up looking pretty nice in the end. And then next we're going to take the mid-tone color, SKARSNIK green, which is our ultimate highlight color for the orcs, but we're going to apply it here and just highlight the surfaces we really want, like the top of the forehead, the top of the ears, top of the nose. Focus on the details that you really want to stand out when the light source is hitting it. I'm basically focusing on the surfaces of the model that my light source is hitting and focusing on them, just trying to bring them up a little bit, like the bottom of the chin, as you can see here, the muscles, the back, top of the feet. As you can see now, we're building up some nice colors over the Grot skin, or Gretchen skin, as some people would say. And now he has so much detail. Look at the character on his face. And this is basically where you can stop if you want to go to a decent tabletop standard. As you can see, it has some great definition. But we're going to take it one step further, just to make an even further definition. We're going to add SKARSNIK green and USHAT bone together, a 1-to-1 mix. and just do another highlight. Pick up on the surface like the top of his forehead, the tops of the ears, lips, the chin. Just bring out whatever definition you really want. Pick up the surfaces that you want the light source to really focus on, that the eyes will really pick up on. And once again, we're just building up a really nice gradient of greens on this guy. And with each step, obviously, you can use less and less paint, so you can add less and less to your palette and thin it down less and less. And that's about it. So that's Grot skin. As you can see, it's significantly lighter than Orc skin, because Orcs are typically darker skin than Grots. But in the end, it's good to give some Grot some love, give it a great paint job, and in the end, it'll look amazing on the tabletop. With 3 points, but an army of them would look really cool. And as you see, it's a significantly light color than Orcs, which is what we're going for, but in the end, it's still very orky and has some great definition. So, great success there. So as always, thank you very much for watching this episode of Miniature Painting 101, and stay tuned for next week's episode, part 59, which is just around the corner. But if you don't want to wait for next week, check out The Warp. Click on the link for a free 14-day trial to my premium YouTube channel, where not only we get to see the next 6 months worth of Miniature Painting 101 episodes, you get to see over 50 start to finish painting tutorials, airbrush tutorials, battle reports, and just some awesome wargaming content. So go ahead and check out The Warp. I think you'll love it. I really do. So thank you as always for watching. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting, everyone.